Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakambitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatani Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare I don't have the, what is it called? Lila Smarana, Gauranga Smarana Stotram. I don't have it just with me here. So I will read something else. This is a nice little Brajbasa song that Krishna Murari posted in glorification of Yashoda Maya. He said, was it yesterday? That's the appearance day of Yashoda Maya. Oh, here comes the Adhan, 5 times a day, Muslim call to prayer. Okay, we're going to pray in Brajavacha. Let's see if I can read. This is in Devanagari. Vishvakhorachaya pratipalak hai charachar ko tahi buko jan maya achara pibabe hai बिना ही बानी के वक्त है चार वेदन को थाही बाबा कही कही मैया बोलिबो सिक्कावे हैं धन्य धन्य जशोदा मैया तेरो भाग्य जो जग खूं गोद माँ खिलावे ताही गोद tu खिलावे हैं. It doesn't seem like much rhythm there, but translation. The creator of the world and the maintainer of the living and non-living, when he feels hungry, mother, you feed him with your breast milk without having any voice. He is the speaker of the four Vedas. To him, O mother, you teach to speak Baba, Baba. all glories to your fortune, O Mother Yashoda, the one who holds the whole world in his lap. You hold in your lap. Just see how beautifully the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in whose stomach the three worlds reside, fits in the lap of Sri Yashoda Maya. Sri Yashoda Maya ki jai. Jo Jug Kun God. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Oh, welcome, welcome. So, yeah, Yashoda Maya ki jai. Okay, and having done that, yeah, I think we could go back to or continue with Chaitanya Mangala. Shall we do that? Yes.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yes, okay. I know you have to say yes to be polite. Okay, here we go. Let's share the screen. Let me check first. Yeah, that should be okay. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 share. Okay. We have been hearing about little baby Nimai, how beautiful he is with his tips of his fingers being 10 moons. Arodosha Chanda Kara, Angulira Age, Pataki, Dakile Hiya, Andiyar Bhage. These 10 moons are the tips of the fingers of Lord Gaura. Seeing these, even the innocent and innocent sinner, whatever that means, has become fortunate. I think that's a misprint. That should be pataki. I think it means someone who has fallen. has become fortunate. That is, the darkness in his heart has gone away. Oh, Hare Krishna, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dobro doshli. Okay, I think we got up to verse 24. Ki kahivo aratara. What more can I say? The moon of Lord Gora's mercy cuts the darkness in the heart into pieces. That darkness has no power to resist. All right, verse text 25. This is chapter 1, isn't it? I think it's chapter 1. Chaitanya Mangala. Ke kahite paritare palaka charitra lokika achare koila prithvi pavitra. Who has the power to describe Lord Gora's childhood pastimes? Although they seem like the actions of an ordinary child, they purify the whole earth. So Lokika means of this world. It comes from the word Loka. There's Lokika and Alokika. So Lokika Achare Koila. So he's doing ordinary things that small children do. He crawls and he runs around and he sometimes makes trouble and he's mischievous but Prithvi Pavitra, he purifies the whole world. So that can't be an ordinary child. This is his Balaka Charitra. His Charitra can just mean activities. It's in traditional Indian literature, as I understand, kings would employ poets to glorify the activities of the kings, and that would always be called a charitra. And so, or charita. And so that is then sort of transferred to, and we get Chaitanya Charita Amrita. And here the word Balaka Charitra. Verse 26, Agraja Jahara Vishwarupa Mahashoy Olpakale Sarvashatra Jane Gunamoy. In a short time, Lord Gora's saintly elder brother, Vishwarupa, became learned in all the scriptures. So Agraja means, Ja means born, and Agra means before. So the one who was born before, the older brother, Jahar Vishwarupa, of whom Vishwarupa Mahashoya. Mahashoya is kind of typical, seems like Bengali word of, it's an honorific, showing great respect. Olpakale, in a short time, Sarvashastra Jane, he comes to know Jane, Sarva Shastra, all Shastras. And he is Gunamaya. He is full of good qualities. When guna is used like this, it's a positive thing. It's not like the three modes of material nature. Guna means quality, and it can mean also virtue. So Vishwarupa, he's the older brother. How much older he was, this I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Verse 27, Tahara Mahima Tattva Ke Kahite Pare Jahara Anuja Mahaprabhu Vishambare. Who has the power to describe his glories? His younger brother is Vishvambara, Lord Mahaprabhu. So Tahara. In the previous verse, so this is what's called in English relative correlative. Jahara and then Tahara. There's a kind of relationship there. So that Vishwarupa, that older brother who is Vishwarupa, that older brother, Tahar, his Mahima Tattva, his the truth of his greatness, I guess you could say. Ke kohite pare, who is able to speak, who's able to describe it. Jahara, and then again we get, okay, there's Jahara and Jahara. Not so sure about that. Jahar, Anuja, so this is the younger brother, Agraja and Anuja, the born after one, Mahaprabhu Vishwambare. Dine dine kare Prabhu karuna prakasha shuni anandita hiya elochana das. Sounds like we're coming to the end of a section. Okay, day by day, Lord Gora manifested his mercy. Hearing of it, Lochandas feels his heart become filled with bliss. So dine dine, day by day, kore. So day by day, if we would make this as a, how to say, like an English sentence, it would be day by day, Prabhu karana kore prakasha, I guess. So day by day, the master, Lord Chaitanya, did the manifesting kore prakasha of his karuna, his mercy. And then shuni anandita hiya. Hiya is the heart. Hrid in Sanskrit. So lochandas, this lochandas, hearing, I think it's shuniya, anandita hiya. That seems like it's kind of lacking the word hoy, meaning happens. But I think it's not a mistake. It's just there's kind of no need for it. And that's also very, very common in Sanskrit. The verb to be is often just not included because it's kind of understood. It just, they like to save space for writing. Okay, we can continue. This is now a different raga, which would be nice to know what it is, but Bharati raga. Maybe someone can find a YouTube recording of Bharati raga. Verse 29, Chanda, 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 Gagana Upare, Ke Pari Aniya Diva. Oh, different meter. Kalanka Muchya Amara Gorara Kapale Chitra Likiva. Oh, moon, 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 up in the sky. Come down. Ke Padi Aniya Diva. I'll wash away your spots. Kalanka Muchya, and make you a wonderful ornament on Gora's cheeks. Amar Gorar Kapale. So on my Gora's cheeks, Kapala, Chitra Likibo, I will mark, I will paint Likibo, Chitra, a painting. That's funny. Aya Aya Chanda Aya Amara Sonara Sutta Nimai Chandera Lagiya Kande Akoti Korite Akoti Bola Jena Amiya Adika Lage. Oh, oh, oh. My golden son Nimai, you cry a great complaint. One thing you demand, your demands are sweeter than nectar. Hmm. So Aya Aya Chanda Aya Amar Sonar Sutta Nimai. Oh, oh, my golden son Nimai. Chander, Chander, this is not all translated here. Chander Lagia Kande. Hmm. Okay, that's missing. Akoti korite, akoti bolajena amiya adika lage. Akoti, I guess, means demand. Mm. Akoti bolajena amiya adika lage. Lage is like is experienced. It strikes as an adhika, I think, is like exceptional, and amiya, I think, is the nectar. So amiya adhika lage. The amiya, the nectar, is exceptional, or its experience as exceptional. Ekati karite, akati karite ekati. Bola. That may be a stretched out ekti, akti and ekti. Ekti is just one. Yeah, one thing you demand. Okay, that's a little mysterious. Uh, 31. Akoni ashibe nimaira bapo kira kodolokalaya hera asyache bacha hau durantare nida jaha ankimudia. Nimai's father will come with bananas and milk. So Bappa is father, the father of Nimai. Kshira Kadalaka. And Laya is bringing, so bringing this milk and kadalaka. Maybe that's a certain kind of banana. Hera asyache bacha. Oh, bad boy, stop complaining. Close your eyes and go to sleep. Hera, Asyache, I think would be coming. Bacha, Bacha sounds like a bad boy. How durantere, put an end. Let there be an end to this. And Ray is kind of just an expression of a kind of exclamation. Shonar Padma Mukha Vrata Padma Anki Mudita Adoti Tara Hanabuji Para Madura Patare Dubila Adha Brahmara. Oh boy, whose face is a golden lotus. Oh boy, whose eyes are red lotuses. Oh boy, whose half-closed eyes are glistening stars. Tara, your eyes are two black bees swimming in an ocean of sweet honey. Okay, let's see. Sonar Padmamukha, golden lotus face. That's straight. Then Rata Padma, it must be red lotuses. Anki would be eyes. Mudita Arati Tara. Tara would be stars. And how he gets half-closed eyes. Mudita Arati. Mudita means pleased, as far as I know. And Arati, I have no idea, but maybe glistening. Hano Buji Para. Madhur Patare. Dubilo is swimming. Adha Brahmara. So Brahmara is Brahmara. Usually it can mean bumblebee. We say in English bumblebee. These are very big bees that make big humming noise. Brahmana tubilo adha. But Madhura Patare, I guess that's the ocean of nectar, of sweet honey. But where is this Buji? I think it's I understand. Sorry, I didn't get around to looking words up like I did last time. What to do? Okay, what we can do is try to sing, but I don't know how we do the second part. Maybe without rhythm, we just sort of Yeah. Ekahite Bharatana Balakacharitra Ekahite Bharet. Oh, I forgot to put the music on. Stop. Hold on. Back up. Start over. Video, audio, original sound for musicians. Okay. And here we go. All right. So everyone's welcome to join in with full-throated singing. Kekaite paretara palakacharitra Kekaite paretara palakacharitra Lokika achare korela prithvi paretra Lokika achare korela prithvi paretra Agraja jaha vishvarupa mahashaya Agraja jaha vishvarupa mahashaya Opakale sarvastra jane gunama Opakale sarvastra jane gunama Taharat mahima tata kekahite prane Jahada anuja mahaprabhu vishvambhare Jahada anuja mahaprabhu vishvambhare Dine dine hare prabhu karuna prakash Hare prabhu karuna prakash Shuni anandita hiya elochanada Shuni anandita hiya lochanada Okay, now we have to go without rhythm because it's too complicated. Chanda, 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 gagana upade. Chanda, 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 gagana upade. Ke pari aniya divo. Ke pari aniya diva. Kalamka muchiya amara gorana. Muchiya amara gorana. Kapale chitra likiva. Chitra likhi Aya Chanda Aya Amara Sonara Suttanima Aya Chanda Aya Amara Sunan Suttanima Chande Lagiya Kande Chandera Lagi Kandi Akati Karite Ekati Bolodena Akati Karite Ekati Bolodena Amiya Adika Lagi Amiya Adika Lagi Akani Ashibe Nimaira Baba Akani Ashibe Nimaira Baba Kira Kadalaka Laya Kira Radaka Laya Hera Asiache Bacha Hera Asiache Bacha How Duranta Re How Duranta Re Nida Jaha Anki Muriya Nida Jaha Anki Muriya Shonara Padma Mukha Rata Padma Ankiya Shonara Padma Mukha Rata Padma Ankiya Murita Arati Tara Arati Tara Hena Buji Para Mud Madhura Patare Hena Buji Para Madhura Patare Dubila Adha Brahmara Dubila Adha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Chaitanya Mangala Ki Jai. Okay, welcome again to all of you who have joined us in the last few minutes, speaking from Shridham Mayapur, Go-druma Bhavan, on the 7th of February, 2026. And things have gotten quite active and busy around here in Mayapur. This is the time of year when the world descends on Mayapur. The devotees who live here, like Lalitamrita, can tell you how devotees come and then they all go. And then the residents are here, back to normal life, getting hotter and hottest, right, through the summer. Yeah. Yeah, yesterday I attended the Tirobhav Titi observance of Srila Govinda Swami Maharaj. Some of you may know, actually it's already some years ago. Is it 30 years ago that he departed? He was, yeah, 96. So it's been, yeah, that's 30 years, isn't it? Wow. His departure was glorious and sudden. He was here in Mayapur. It was, well, yesterday was the same day as Bhaktisiddhanta's appearance. I don't know that it was the same day that year. It was. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It would be the same. So it was very dramatic. It was in the evening, apparently, around 7 o'clock. After 7, we heard that suddenly he just felt himself not so well. So he went to his room and lay down. And I believe it was within minutes that he departed. A huge shock for everyone. Of course, it's a reminder for all of us. That can be the case for any of us at any time. Also, at the occasion, at the end of the occasion, there was a little ceremony. Madhavananda Prabhu had us cutting a ribbon to a big board with the title of this new institute, which he has established. It's called the what is it? The Gaudiya Odia Society Research Association, GORA. And this is something he's been planning for years. And it seems that just recently he made an agreement with the Bhaktivedanta Research Center in Kolkata, which is associated with ISKCON. And so he made now an agreement connected with him. And one practical benefit of that is he'll be able to receive donations through the BRC. So there was a little ceremony to inaugurate this center. I'm very happy about this, just seeing how much Madhavananda Prabhu has been dreaming of this. It's a research institute. It means the idea is to he's already been collecting, and he will collect more literature, Orian literature of Vaishnavism in Odisha. As we know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent altogether, I believe, 18 years in Puri. And the last 12 years of his presence in particular is, well, it's all described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this was one of the special commission, or this was the special commission given to Krishnadas Kaviraj to write about the later pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's all happening in Puri. And although we call ourselves Gaudiya Vaishnavas, which is an appropriate designation, there is a huge connection with Odiya Vaishnavism, which is quite unexplored. So the aim is to open up this very important area of our tradition. And Madhavananda Prabhu was just here. We had lunch together today, and he was telling me that there's a whole university, Sanskrit university in Puri, and he said this is the first time he went there because he didn't have any contacts, but he came to know the vice chancellor of the university, who then invited him to come and speak. And he said he got a hugely warm welcome. And he said it's a big place. He said they have 1,000 acres land, and they conduct all their classes in Sanskrit. Oh. Yeah. So he said there's possibilities of doing some things connected with them. He said they have a library of, I think he said 60,000 books, 60 or 80,000. Anyway, so that's nice. I have, you know how I like to show books. Well, today I have one little tiny book to show, a little pamphlet. It is called Vaishnava Institutions and the Sweet Dealings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this was compiled by Madhavananda Prabhu. with something from Srila Prabhupada, from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, two pieces by Bhaktisiddhanta, and then two longer discussions by Sri Srimad Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. And the subject is Vaishnava institutions. Perhaps I read a little from this, one or two paragraphs. I won't read too fast for our translators. So he's talking about organization, and there's a subsection called tolerate, cooperate. He says, when you try to establish truth, you will find many falsehoods, and opposing factors will arise. We should understand that this is the will of the Lord. When many different people come together, then different opinions will emerge. Fighting, quarrel, and disagreement will naturally arise. Satyam eva jayate, truth will eventually be established, but it takes time. It is not so easy. If there was no darkness, how could you glorify the light? We have to tolerate. We have to have patience and cooperate. That is the instruction of sadhus and acharyas. Mahaprabhu said in his Shikshastakam, text 3, Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna, amanina, anadena, kirtaniya sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. And then Gaur Govinda Maharaj says, this is the most important verse. Unless you understand and practice this verse, you cannot do Hari Bhajana. So, tolerate, cooperate. Any thoughts on that? Any comments? If anyone wants to say something? Pretty straightforward, I guess. Mangala Chandrika, yes.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, just shortly before the boys come back and make a lot of noise. If you have, I want to ask a question rather than a comment. Because I'm wondering about this for quite a while, about tolerating and cooperating. And I see that, cooperating with devotees sometimes can be very challenging. And it's not because we're any different. It's just because we're getting very close and many things.
Sometimes or all the time?
I would say sometimes, but we could also say, yeah. And I think there is some space for venting and, sometimes just expressing one's heart without being offensive necessarily. And I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts on that? I find it as a challenge to really, um, respect devotees deeply, but at the same time also be real and be able to connect and express our heart sometimes and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think one other question connected is how to, adjust our expectations. Sometimes we have these expectations from devotees because we're cooperating together. So things should be smooth because we have the same goal and mission. But then our expectations can be crushed again and again. And it's sometimes hard to put that together because we want to cooperate with them. We want to continue, but it's not always easy.
Yeah, we do have, I think, a fairly common cultural problem in our society uh, of devotees not being reliable, saying I will do this or that and then not doing it, or sharing a confidentiality that we speak to someone, they tell someone else instead of keeping to themselves. And I'm not sure why that is specifically uh, among devotees, or whether it's, you know, whether it's a wider phenomenon. It's hard to say. I remember Srila Prabhupada saying that regarding tolerance, that in this lecture that he gave, where at the end I asked my one question to him. So that lecture was about tolerance. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya shitoshna shugadukada. That verse 214 Bhagavad Gita. And he was just so much emphasizing, you must tolerate. And I always remember, I mean, memory is a funny thing. It can um, make something which didn't actually happen. But as I remember, he said, he gave this definition of death as when the soul can no longer tolerate to be in the body. And I thought that kind of puts a point on all the rest of what it means to tolerate. So one thing is we want to try to keep a transcendental perspective, and that means trying to see others as potentially so much better than they are. You know, it's kind of like if someone is, let's say someone is sick with a cold. You know, after a few days, they're going to get over it. And you don't so much relate to them if you're relating with them as the person who has a cold, like it's some sort of permanent condition. You know it's going to be over, and the person you relate to is essentially the healthy person. Which reminds me of, this is a pedagogical principle, is having high expectations for children can be very powerful in helping them to actually do well. So it's a funny thing. We may be fearful to have high expectations of others because for sure they'll disappoint us. But then if we don't have high expectations, they will go, they won't do anything that is needed, or, they won't be, they'll be mediocre. That's what I want to say. And what is wanted by Krishna is excellence in our service. I got that impression just 2 days ago. I was asked to come attend the graduation ceremony for the what do they call it? Not the Mayapur. Yes, Mayapur Academy, where they train. They have a 4-month program, very rigorous. It's become very impressive what all they do. Training pujaris in everything. They have several modules. And I was just kind of appreciating the mood which Nrsimha Kavacha Prabhu, the headmaster, we may say, he's really established a notion of excellence. He starts everyone out, at least in the puja module, polishing their achman cups, and polishing and polishing and polishing and polishing until it's glowing. Anyway, I'm just thinking a few things on that. Is that okay? Something?
Thank you, Gurudev. I appreciate your point on when somebody is sick, you don't get stuck on that part.
Yeah.
Better to have this long-term vision of devotees that we're all growing, and and I think seeing children through higher expectations is probably easier because there are children, and
Yeah.
I don't know, somehow or other we can let go of things much quicker. So it's definitely a lot of purification of the heart, being close to devotees. But then again, isn't that a better reality than anything else? So
Right.
thank you so much. I think I'm being called out here.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hemangi Gopi in San Diego at what, 2 a.m. or something?
No, it's 5 a.m. 5 in the
5
morning.
a.m.
Yes. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
humble obeisances. Very happy to be with you.
You're up early.
Yes, just I missed this Sanga. I told Venupani I will attend. So like somebody attend Mangala in the temple at this time. I'm attending this wonderful Sanga.
Okay.
Yes, just wanted to reflect a little bit, but it's connected what you already mentioned regarding tolerance from Christian perspective that I find also very helpful. Sometimes some author, I just forget the name, but he was from Christian tradition and he wrote on tolerance in a kind of transformative, imaginable way, like not in a sense of enduring something, but more broader, imaginative idea, like to be able to somehow get the different facts and be able to consider all the circumstances in order to grasp something, imbibe, and so be like affirmative to some appearance that may be seen as a negative. So, and yes, they are giving various examples to that. So I'm just thinking all of us can find from our local relationship with, like on the personal level with devotees, but also sometimes institutional, how wonderful would it be to somehow exercise this imaginative aspect of taking in consideration different facts or circumstances and see how we can approach it differently, maybe even more transformative, more positive, so that this tolerance doesn't be something correlated with negative connotation, but more transformative or positive.
Yeah, that sounds good. If I understand, the idea is try to rethink the situation, to kind of back off of one's own expectations and see other possibilities.
Yes, like one example comes to my mind. I was recently listening Radhika Raman's series of seminar on forgiveness in Bhagavata Purana. It's wonderful. And he was mentioning his personal example, how he was judgmental toward one devotee who was counting every penny and always writing it down, and he was thinking why he's doing that. That's, generosity is virtue and like that. And then later he learned that this person grew up without a parent and they didn't have income, so many children, and he needed to deal it in that way. So he gave the space and that learn more about it and the facts and the circumstances of the person, so that he don't need to consider as a negative toleration of such a behavior, but now understandable way that sometimes there is a positive explanation to something that outside can appear as a negative behavior or act.
Yeah, from negative to positive. Yeah, we tend to be hasty in our judgments of others, isn't it?
Yeah. And considering ourselves very tolerant, even though we don't really understand many things. Yes, we don't understand many things in that process of dialectic of the relationship with other jiva, and sometimes we are more stuck with the conditioned nature of each other than to be able to look at higher nature and see what's there, what's behind the scene.
Yeah, conditioning. Preconditioning. It's kind of, we are preconditioned, sort of like being pre-programmed to think certain ways when there's actually infinite ways to think of any given situation.
Yeah.
I think that's a point, is that we come into a situation and it's a kind of basic assumption that our perspective is the way things are. And so we build our picture of everything around how we think things are. But there's infinite possibilities. And what we're trying to do as devotees is, and it can be a nice question to ask oneself, what is Krishna's perspective on this situation? If Krishna is omniscient, and that is something we take as one of Krishna's unlimited qualities, omniscience, what does he see?
I realize, like with myself, like when I do my best, whatever I need to do, then I feel peaceful, happy, and joyful. But when I don't do myself, I have a tendency to blame Krishna. why he didn't arrange otherwise. So this is the something that I noticed in my behavior, and so I need to tolerate this situation instead of putting something better, much better effort into accomplishing something or trying to please. So this is what I realized, and also in related to activities that can also be seen as a tolerating some situation instead of putting a little bit much Krishna and a little more effort to the things.
Yes, very good. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
San Diego Yatra ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Giridhari ki jai.
Jai.
The deities there. I haven't been there in decades. Here's a question. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Which of the Vishnu Tattvas, this is Priya Saki Rinda asking, which of the Vishnu Tattvas did Vishvarupa represent? We know, for example, that Lord Advaita was a combination of Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva, but what about Lord Chaitanya's elder brother? Yeah, he's a kind of mysterious person. Isn't he, in some sense, also identified as Balaram? It's been a while now. Someone please correct me. And so he then, how was it? When he departs the world, he transfers himself into Nityananda. I don't remember. There's something like that that goes on. So that's something we need to get the right answer to. Alakananda has given us a link for Bharati Raga. What if I click this? What happens? Okay, well, that didn't illuminate so much for me, but oops, there we are. It sounds like a kind of dark raga, but that was only a little short, very short part of sort of an alap maybe. And then Subal Gopal is asking, Hare Krishna, obeisances, all glories to Srila Radha. Could this high expectation also be applied for new, young ashram residents in the temple? I mean, we don't want to misunderstand. You don't want to put high expectations, and then when they don't meet them, you get upset and they feel, some kind of unhelpful pressure. Yeah, it's always a delicate matter of relating. Srila Prabhupada was so tolerant. I mean, he had high expectations of his devotees, but they were very, very inexperienced. I remember, I mean, this is just a funny thing that I don't know where this came from, but in the early days, it seems that all the devotees thought that we should dress the way Srila Prabhupada dresses. Prabhupada had the sannyas uttariya, this upper cloth. All the devotees means the male devotees. And so, yeah, even still, when I joined, although I don't remember wearing this myself, but you'll see pictures of devotees in the early days, brahmacharis, and they're wearing this uttariya cloth, like a sannyasi wears. I'm not wearing one now. And Prabhupada saw that, but did he say anything? It seems not. He just, okay, whatever inspires them. So, don't have high expectations of new young ashram residents, and then, it becomes a source of anxiety. You can have high you can have high hopes. Maybe we should say high hopes instead of high expectations. Okay, you go on to say, oh no, that's not, that is Sita Lee. I have been in situations in which I've had to stop tolerating in order to protect my own health. Tolerance in the heart while keeping distance. Yeah, I mean, we also, Prabhupada would say sometimes you have to use your intelligence. You have to do the needful, he would also say. So it's not that we let people step all over us and just tolerate, and then, this is not helping anyone. Sometimes we have to say something or get out of the way or make some change. Sometimes we may have to be very assertive. Let's see, Divya. Which Divya is this? Divyambara. Radhe Krishna. Oh, must be Divya Singha. Dandavat Vanchakalpa Bhaktisiddhanta raises a similar topic regarding religious organization. Church, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur wrote about the church, that is, the religious institution. Here is an excerpt from this essay from the Harmonist, 1932. Okay, here's an excerpt from it. Discipline is needed to keep check the innate attachment of conditioned souls to worldly possessions. Even in this case, mechanical discipline will not yield the desired result. A mechanical system never creates trustworthy teachers of religion, nor do they respect such systems. In the hands of such a teacher, the religious process will turn into a soulless system. The pursuit of fixed doctrine and fixed liturgy does not bring anyone closer to the true essence of religious doctrine and liturgy. The word liturgy means the ritual procedure in a church. They call that the liturgy. The idea of an institutionalized church with a clear, universally defined form means the end of a living spiritual movement. Large church structures are like dams, and dams intended to hold back a stream that cannot be artificially stemmed. Furthermore, it indicates that those who are like donkeys desire to exploit the spiritual movement for their own purposes. It also indicates that the absolute and unconventional guidance of a bona fide spiritual teacher has been lost. Yeah, so this is the warning. Mechanical rules for rules' sake. I mean, Rupa Goswami also says we have to be careful of that. Niyamagraha. An interesting thing I came across is the idea that, how is it put? I won't be able to put it the same, but in any sphere of life, there are rules, but to really become skilled at something, one needs to learn how to break the rules. That has to be carefully understood. Shouldn't be misunderstood. An artist, well, the example was given of jazz music. In jazz music, it's all about improvisation. Actually, Indian music is about improvisation too, which is quite different from, say, Baroque music or classical music, where it's all, we say, spelled out. It's all written out. You just, although for someone to perform nicely, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, that's also not mechanical only. Anyway, the point was made that one actually has to take a risk to kind of get to the real substance of a thing, where the rules are there for guidance, but then there's something beyond that. And we could say, speaking of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, this is where his example of Varnashram as being like a scaffolding. When you build a building, you make a temporary structure outside the building so that you can climb up and do the work. And when it's completed, then you take down the scaffolding. You don't need it anymore. Yeah. Sita, can you please, Maharaj, say something about tolerance but never accepting being abused? Well, I think that's the point you're making right there. Don't tolerate being abused. For that, of course, there are lots of situations where people allow themselves to be abused. And that's one of the dangers of institutions of all kinds, whether it's a religious institution or anything else. We have a whole government in the United States right now, a federal government abusing the entire country. I mean, it's just really unbelievable what's happening. So it's a kind of balance. It's a kind of balancing act. I was also just reading Dostoevsky. Fyodor Dostoevsky wrote a novel called The Idiot. And the idiot is about a man who is very innocent and he seems like a fool. And so he's called an idiot. And so people take advantage of him. And he somehow keeps his let's say his nobility despite how people treat him. So I think this is the point to protect one's, well, we don't say nobility so much as dignity. We need to protect our dignity. And if we can't protect it, we may need to take help from others to protect our dignity. Avadhuta Rai, I knew he would come through and give us, yes, Balaram Tattva is Vishvarupa. Okay, so I was right. Hare Krishna. Okay, Daityesha, well, as far as Srila Prabhupada tolerating the devotees dressing the way he did, in the beginning it must have been very difficult to stop the imitation of his person on the op. Yeah, yeah, so he was encouraging, that's why he would not make a fuss. Okay, they're wearing this, so what? They're chanting Hare Krishna, that's what matters. And Krishna Ragini, Hare Krishna. Should we not have high expectations from ourselves first before we place them on others? Yes, good point. Good point. Srila Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita that to tell a thief that he is a thief is not an offense, but telling a lie about someone is an offense. Yes. Oh, we're getting lots of comments and questions today. Padma Manjari, Hare Krishna. Regarding expectations on others, I follow this advice. Quote, accept others as they are and see them in your mind as they could be at their best. Yeah, that very nicely summarizes. Feeling accepted is important, otherwise we might never feel good enough. Yeah, I like that. Accept others as they are and see them in your mind as they could be at their best. Oh, again, Adan. 5 times a day. Okay, Johannes says, I heard that we judge others by their actions, but we judge ourselves by our intentions. I don't know if that can always be applied. Actually, the whole basis of Buddhist ethics, there's a great emphasis on intention, motivation, which leads them into a kind of strange conclusion. We might take it as strange, but there's a certain logic to it, but not something for us, is that in, at least in Theravada Buddhism, the monks go out begging for their meals. And if someone gives them meat in their bowl, they accept it. Because they're not intentionally, they didn't go out and buy it. And presumably the meat was not prepared specifically for them. And therefore it's considered all right. So they'll take it. Yeah, that's not for us. But there, you see, there's a certain logic there. They understand that the higher principle is that someone is giving a donation and you need to accept it because it's good for them that you accept their donation. Doesn't matter what they're giving you. So there you go. Johannes continues, I mean, as in that what we tend to do in everyday life, not as an ideal, which might lead us to judge others harsher than ourselves. Okay, yeah. Yeah, good. Well, we kind of took some time with that. We didn't do any Sanskrit prosody, nor did I actually prepare for that. So it may be time that we continue a bit with Nectar of Devotion. What do you think? We have a few minutes. Akbar. Akbar. They really, this Adan, very special. Okay, now I'll share screen again. Oops, there we go. And here we are. Okay. So we're almost at the end. We're going through these seva aparadas, offenses in the worship of the Lord. And one of these, is not an offense, it's a kind of injunction. One should begin the worship of the demigod Ganapati, who drives away all impediments in the execution of devotional service. And it's explained in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that Ganapati worships the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadeva. Does it say Nrsimhadeva? Yat pada pallava yugam vinadhaya kumbha dvanve pranama samaye. Pranama samaye saganadi raja vignan vihantum alamasya jagatrayasya govinda madhipurasham jami. Maybe it's implied that he's, I think in Puri there's that idea, but in any case, worships the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev, and in that way has become auspicious for the devotees in clearing out all impediments. Therefore, all devotees should worship Ganapati. Okay, but then Prabhupada said in a letter, when someone asked about that, he said, I do not encourage you to worship this demigod Ganesha. It is not required. It is not necessary. Simply worship Krishna. Perform nice devotional service to Krishna. Then your lives will certainly become perfect. Of course, if one has got some sentiment for achieving the blessings of Ganesha, for accumulating large sums of money to serve Krishna, then he may perform this Ganesha worship privately, not making a public show. But first of all, he must give me $100,000 per month. Not a single farthing less, not a penny less. If he can supply this amount, $100,000 per month, then he will be allowed to do this Ganesha Puja. Otherwise, he should not do it. It will not be good. That is my order. So we don't put a lot of attention to Ganesha. There is this prayer of Brahma Samhita, Yat Pada Pallava Yuga. Vinidhaya Kumbhadvanve Pranama Samaye. At the time, Pranama Samaye, at the time of offering pranama, Ganesha, with his two tusks, goes to the feet of the Lord. That's really all the verse says. I worship that Govinda who is worshipped by Ganesha. That's all. And so that verse is nice to recite along with all the other verses of Brahma Samhita, because they're all the verses are glorifying Govinda. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much appreciated the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, which is the only chapter we have. It's what he discovered. Okay, then the deities should not be bathed in water which has been touched by the nails or fingers. Okay. The idea, like everything with these points, is it's about respect, and there's an idea of purity where it was explained to me once when I was first learning puja that dirt is kind of like electricity. And that's why one is careful. If one touches something which is impure, then yeah, there's some procedure for purification depending on how serious the impurification is. When a devotee is perspiring, he should not engage himself in worshiping the deity. Yeah, that also kind of makes sense. Perspiring means also generally not smelling very good. And we want to be good smelling when we're near the Lord. The Lord smells, he has his transcendental fragrance, and we don't want to overwhelm that fragrance. One should not cross or step over the flowers offered to the deities. So this is, you could say this is tadiya. Tadiya means that which is in relation to, literally tadiya means of that, related to that. to Tat, and Tat can mean the Lord. And so everything that we offer to the Lord is remnants from the Lord. They're to be respected. And to step over anything or anyone is generally disrespectful. I say generally because there is the case when Govinda Das, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's servant, stepped over him while he was lying down napping. Why? Because Mahaprabhu was lying right in the doorway. And the only way Govinda could get in a position to do his service, what was his service? Massaging, I think. Massaging Mahaprabhu. The only way he could do it was to first step over him. But then he would not step back over to go out, because that would have been for his own sense gratification, his own purpose. So he went one way, but not the other. That's a famous example in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nor should one take a vow in the name of God. Yeah, that's kind of like to swear is to take the name of God in vain. We learned that in Sunday school when I was a kid. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain. We never understood what that meant, but it sounded good. We don't take it in vain. We chant the Lord's name to glorify him. Okay, this is a bit of explanation. Even when a person becomes an offender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he can still be delivered simply by taking shelter of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In other words, the chanting of Hare Krishna is beneficial for eradicating, for removing all sins. But if one becomes an offender to the holy names of the Lord, then he has no chance of being delivered. Well, no chance except mercy, which can be gotten especially by associating with devotees. Okay, we're coming. Oh, and now comes the offenses to the holy name. So we all know these, but it's good to be reminded, and we have some interesting illustrations. One, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. I always tell devotees, you can go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 8, verse 24, purport, to get all of the offenses to the holy name with the Sanskrit and Prabhupada's explanation. This was Lecture of Prabhupada, Initiation of Jaipataka Dasa, July 24th, 1968 in Montreal. And those who are preaching God consciousness, never mind in any part of the world, those who are preaching God consciousness in your country, Christian, not in your country. Of course, it was preached in Central Asia, but now Christianism is spread all over. So, Lord Jesus Christ, he also preached God consciousness. And Muhammad, Hazrat Muhammad, he also preached God consciousness. Similarly, in India, there was several acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, God consciousness they preached. So why is Prabhupada mentioning that? Because he's saying these are all devotees. They shouldn't be, they should be respected. This picture, I don't know where this drawing comes from, but Urmila Devi found it or had it made. Perhaps she has some artist devotees. So they're obviously all from different religious groups, and they're all together sitting at one table. And yeah, here's the devotee. And maybe here also. Okay. 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. And Prabhupada explains, sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, but one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali, or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Of course, later Prabhupada will say other offenses are the greatest offense. But the idea is one should be careful. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Guru Avagnya, it's called disobedience. Prabhupada said at some time, obedience is foundational to spiritual life. To blaspheme the Vedic literature, oh, this image. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. And then he has a picture of the Quran. I don't know if it's good even to, that's a kind of strange illustration. That would definitely offend some people. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imaginations. Here's somebody who lost the top of his head, but he's got a lot of imagination. Yeah, the point being that we hear about the glory of the holy name, and it would be offense. It can happen that one dismisses what one hears and says, that's just your imagination. So what is it? Guru avagya shruti shastra nindanam tatartavada harinamni kalpanam. So tata arta vada. Artavada can also mean kind of like advertisement. Oh, they're just advertising. When you advertise, you don't tell the truth. Harinamni kalpanam, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. He's very busy here making interpretations. 7, to commit, okay, this sometimes Prabhupada would say this is the worst offense. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. It should not be taken that because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. One may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sin. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. Namno balad yasya hi papa buddhir navidyate yasya yamayar hi shuddhi. I think that's it. It means literally namno balad, by the power. Namno balad hi papa buddhir. The papa buddhi, the sinful mentality that one can overcome sin just by chanting. Namno balat yasi papa buddhir na vidyate tasya yamayar ishuddhi. That person cannot be purified, shuddhi, by any number of punishments, you could say, of Yamaraj, Yamai. Okay. And then number 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruit of activities karma kanda. So in other words, this would be to sort of downgrade the chanting of Hare Krishna to various, all kinds of ritual activities. And that would be an offense. So the opposite of that is to remember that there's no comparison. And we should understand it's not just that chanting Hare Krishna is a little better than other religious activities, right? It's not like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, there's some religious activities that are on the number 7, and chanting Hare Krishna is number 8 in value. No, it's a different category. It's a completely different category. Here's a sassy little girl. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning, one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. Yeah. Clear enough. That sometimes takes a bit of discrimination. 10, to not have complete faith in chanting of the holy name. Shutvapi nama mahatyam ya priti rahito dhamma ahang mameti paramo namni so api aparadakrit. And to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions. Whoops, on this matter. I'm just trying to go quickly finish up. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. This became a bit of a ritual in temples that we chant the 10, go through the 10 offenses while we're all half asleep. And then at the end, we say, every devotee claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. And then, which is, and then we all chant, Krishna Prema. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Yeah, that brings us pretty much to the end. I perhaps should mention, but I don't know if I can give full information how this works. Tomorrow, I believe it's open to anyone and everyone. There's a Maha Ishtagosti with the GBC. Let's see. It starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Indian time. What's that, 11:30 European time? I think so. And devotees have submitted questions in advance for them to respond to. I'm guessing it will all be recorded. I don't know. They said something about YouTube that it'll be on Zoom, but only for X number of people. And then there's a YouTube channel link one can go to. How to find out more about that, I'm not sure. Tomorrow morning, there's going to be a big Nrsinga Yagya. I'll be going to for a yagya for the Chinese yatra, for the protection of the Chinese yatra. Yeah. Well, I think, ISKCON, okay. Good, thank you, Johannes. He's given the link for the information about that. Or maybe no, I think that's the news about it. So, I will end there and say thank you all very much for joining us this morning, midday, afternoon, evening, and night, depending where you are. Thank you to all of our translators. Gopi Krishna, how did you manage this time? Okay? Did it go okay for you? Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to connect that way, but Hare Krishna.
Krishna Guru Maharaj, thank you very much.
Whoa. And what time is it there now? 10 o'clock. Are you going to eat something now? Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much. All right. Jai, everyone stay safe, stay sane, chant, be happy, have a good week. And oh, are we going to see you next week? Let me check. Yes, next week we can still have. And not the week after that. I'm going to be in Ahmedabad busy. And not the week after that because I'm flying to Hong Kong. And week after that, I'll be in Taiwan. And actually, probably the next several weeks, we're not going to have Saturday Sanga, which means maybe you can start up a Bhagavad Gita reading Sangha. Who wants to organize that? You can discuss amongst yourselves.
Maharaj, we have a little chat group for
Okay.
when we do the so
Okay.
message on the main group.
All right. Okay, thank you all. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti
Hare
Vaishnava
Krishna,
ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna.
Gaur
Jai.
Jai Jai Guru Maharaj.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Guru
Thank
Maharaj.
you very much.